everyone, welcome to another animated film review.
Yeah.
This time,
we actually got to go see Isle of Dogs.
woohoo! We thought we were going to go see it last weekend, but circumstances meant that we couldn't because Fox ended up delaying the film for a limited release. Limitedly? For whatever reason.
Yeah, so...
it'll be out nationwide in a few weeks. Maybe next week. But anyway.
Either way, we drove 3 hours away just so we could watch this film for you. But mostly us, but for you. And we're actually not alone on this review. We actually have a couple of our friends here with us.
Yeah. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Danielle. Hey, I'm Jessica.
Yeah, and they went and saw the movie with us, so they are going to be in the review with us.
Yeah. So, first we're going to start with non-spoilers.
Yeah, so...
And so anyone who has not seen this film yet, and most of you probably won't because it's still limited release, so we'll talk non-spoilers. So anything that's shown in the trailers is fair game, but past that, you know, we want to keep our lips sealed until we get to the spoiler section.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you feel about the film, Sean?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought this film was great. It was a little slow-paced, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
It's a movie that takes its time. It's definitely a Wes Anderson film, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great. I loved it.
How about you guys?
It was a nice, enjoyable, just kind of sit down, watch movie. I mean, it had its moments where things would have me be like, oh! But that's kind of part of the course, so.
One moment in particular where I think everyone in the audience was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jess?
Yeah, I had no clue what this movie was about.
Had you
Same.
seen
I hadn't seen
trailers?
anything for this.
Nothing?
I've seen trailers and I was watching a few clips before we started to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to pique my interest a little bit more because it just looked really interesting and I like movies with dogs in it, so
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one.
I heard of it when you mentioned the name and said, do you want to go see a movie? So
And you're like, what movie?
I was like, okay, movies, I don't go much anymore.
So, yeah, you guys definitely aren't as much animation buffs as we are.
Well, I'm not anything with animation.
Yeah. But, no, as soon as the, teaser trailer dropped for this, my Twitter feed blew up, and it was just like, and everyone
excited.
who had seen Fantastic Mr. Fox was like, God, yes, please! And, yeah, I didn't think this film disappointed. I was super excited to see it, and it lived up to those expectations.
Yeah.
And if you had none, it was a very enjoyable experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely going to be different from any of your other animated film viewing pleasures for English-based audiences.
Yes.
AKA, it's not a kid's film.
It's not primarily a comedy, action, road trip movie, although it's kind of a road trip movie.
And it's not all in English, which was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked it a lot too.
That's one thing that this movie points out immediately is that...
In a very funny way, too.
Yeah, in a very amusing way, is that only the dogs are going to be translated.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else will only be translated if there's actually a translator present in the scene. Which means,
or technology, they even say that, I think.
Which means that pretty much everyone in the movie actually just speaks the original language, which for the most part is Japanese, because this movie takes place in Japan.
Yeah. Now, I have heard that this film has gotten a little bit of backlash because of it taking place in Japan.
Yes?
Yes, it's, people are calling it, cultural appropriation. And I'm like,
okay.
I kind of see where they're coming from because Japan as a society plays the villains, pretty much.
I guess that's
I
kind of
don't know.
true.
I feel like they were trying to make cats the villain. I mean, there were little cat emblems throughout the movie.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
made big points of it. I felt more like they were villainizing cats than Japan.
I think any cultural appropriation that is present is, it's there because of course it's there. Just the fact that it's white people making a film set in Japan is cultural appropriation.
Which is fair.
I'm like, yeah, they were.
Which doesn't mean it's automatically a bad thing, but
they even worked with a a Japanese studio of some sort
Yeah.
to help do the film.
Yeah. But I think it's done in a loving way and it's not meant to be harmful.
No. I definitely think it's the idea of cats versus dogs. Mm-hmm. And it just happens to use the country of Japan as the framing device for this fight this time.
Right.
I suppose it might have a little bit of political satire too, but that's just in like political in general, not necessarily Japan's political.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it has like references to things like the Yakuza and just like sumo wrestlers were probably used a little too much, which was just weird. But as a whole, I think it's okay.
And another one of the criticisms is that, you know, of the two human people who are quote unquote good, one of them is like an American exchange student.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Like, okay, that's a bit fair.
Yeah. But I think that because this film is going more for an allegory about minority groups,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, okay, so you need to kind of remove it from that, you know?
Yes.
Like this is more so a tale about talking about how we treat minority groups, not however Wes Anderson might feel about Japan.
It's very true.
And I think it comes off pretty clear that he has a lot of respect for Japan because of just how this film is made. Like,
yeah, everything about this film.
Yeah, like the filmmaking in this is fantastic. I love the art direction of setting it up like a Japanese drama.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got like the 4-act structure with a prologue, so it's
And even the way like the lettering comes on screen and
yeah. Mm-hmm. Just like boom, it's there. Boom, subtitle.
yeah.
It's fantastic. Taiko drums are pretty much your only background music.
I loved
Well,
that
no, there
too.
are the
Yeah.
like folk songs
Yes, yeah.
in there as well.
What were you saying?
I loved it too, like just I think it was partially too because our theater was really loud, but like the booming of the drums, like it really like kind of pulled you in.
Resonates with you.
Resonates, yeah, that's a better word.
And that's how the
Like-
movie starts. It's like, here's your music. Let's set the stage.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like musicals and stuff where it pretty much starts out with like the orchestra
Right.
playing
It's
and
just
then
the
it
overture.
leaves with the orchestra playing.
Yeah, it's a
So,
really good framing
Yeah,
device.
yeah, I really liked that. And I guess that's from my drama background.
And another thing I loved is this isn't just stop motion.
No.
Oh yeah.
No,
There's-
every time that there's a television on screen, it's 2D animation.
And there's some amazing shots in this where they have the stop motion characters. So there were some fantastic scenes where it was the stop motion animation that you were watching, and then like in another part of the shot, they would have it be shown what was on TV. And so like the same thing was happening, but you know it's like somebody also animated that, and so whoever animated it and whoever stop motion animated, like they had to be working together to
In
make
tandem,
sure
to
that
make sure everything looked correct.
perfect. Yeah, and
Oh, it's so good.
it looks
It's
amazing.
like, even if all the 2D stuff was done afterwards and just like green screened on, which is probably how they did a lot of those shots, it still looks fantastic. And I was not expecting to see any 2D in this film,
no,
but it was great.
Yeah, it was a very unexpected, happy welcome to see.
Yeah, because, yeah, I guess, Jess, you're also a 2D animation person as well.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
for
the
sure.
weird photographer in the group.
well then you can kind of talk about the shots.
Well, yeah, I mean, I honestly
You
I
haven't
really
seen a
liked-
Wes Anderson film before,
No, I have
right?
not.
Yeah, so this is very Wes Anderson. He likes this kind of composition.
Yeah, like something I did like was especially like moments when the villain character, I mean, he's not totally a villain. He kind of redeemed and anyway.
Yeah.
The mayor guy.
The mayor guy.
Kobayashi.
I liked when they would show him, you know, but like behind him wasn't like a normal background. It was these old style like samurai type paintings, but with cats everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have just been the cats, but but I loved those. I thought they were really pretty. Anytime they showed like the sequences of just those paintings that would appear as they were telling a story, like at the beginning when they had that narrator and they would show the paintings and all that. I really thought those were pretty and neat and stuff.
I had kind of a problem with this. I don't know if it was the theater or the filmmaking. I'm going to assume it was something with the theater because this seems like a really weird mistake. But did you guys notice that whenever it did a panning shot,
it was so fast?
It was either too fast or they didn't put enough blur on it.
That
because it felt like
it
was staggering.
I noticed that too, yeah.
My eyes would
I somehow
totally
didn't
blur
notice
out.
that, but I also have bad eyes, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, I thought that was my real issue with it. Is I was like, oh, this is blurry because going too fast, just because I have terrible eyesight.
Yeah, I think we all thought it was us, but I feel like it either was the movie theater or the movie.
It could have been either one of those. Yeah.
Well, I guess you guys, when you go to see this film, you should let us know whether you had any shots like that where it just looked choppy.
Because I'm very interested to know if it was just our theater or... And it could also be... It could be multiple problems. It could be either the theater screen just wasn't equipped for that kind of panning shot. They filmed it incorrectly, which seems like...
Unlikely?
This seems very unlikely. Or 3, it's just the fact that it was so large... Like, the screen's so large, and because it's a stop-motion animated film, like, the
frame rates are different enough that
it shows weird, and if you were watching it on a smaller screen, that wouldn't be a problem.
That's also very possible.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing.
So yeah, you guys will have to tell us if you noticed that problem as well. Mm-hmm. So, as far as story goes... Non-spoilers,
if I'm remembering correctly, the trailers showed us essentially that a small Japanese boy has come to the Isle of Dogs, which is the Isle of Trash, and he's trying to find his lost dog, Spots, and he's getting the help of 5 other various assorted dogs, and they go on a journey to find it. And that's the non-spoiler.
Yeah, the dogs have been banished from the mainland because they're overrun. Yeah.
There's too many of them and there's a sickness, so they need to get out.
Yep.
For the health of everyone.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's really about...
That's about all they give you.
As far as the story gives you. But, man, there's a lot more story here.
Oh, yeah. And we're not going to talk about it in this section.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is really a thing. It's kind of a symbolism, and I don't even know if this is the symbolism it was going for, but if you notice, especially when they were talking about the disease and when they showed things like that, you would see a rat scurrying around, and I was like, I wonder if that's supposed to be a reference to the bubonic plague. Well, like, that was always where my mind went. Like, I know that they were in a trash heap, so rats would have been there, but, like, I felt like anytime it was majorly talked about in, like, the first act, there was, like, a rat there.
It's very possible. I don't know.
Could be.
It was just something I noticed.
I enjoyed the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of twists that I thought I saw where it was going
one way,
and then it went a different way. And I was like, oh, that's a good way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, plays on your expectations, but does it in a better fashion. I think the acting in this movie was fantastic.
Yeah,
Like, everyone in the movie was able to capture the Wes Anderson kind of aloof deadpan he's known
loved
for.
the humor in this movie.
I know, right?
Isn't it so
great?
good?
You really need to watch Fantastic Mr. Fox.
We might just have to, like, watch Fantastic Mr. Fox after this, because neither of you guys have seen it, and it's the same thing, except it's actually a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I heard anyone else really laughing in the theater.
I mean, we did go to it wasn't a packed theater, to be sure.
Yeah, I mean,
it was pretty sparse.
It was pretty sparse, but it's also an art film theater.
Yes,
which is cool.
It was interesting. I didn't know those really existed, but...
And I just want to say that when we walked in, I noticed that...
There were no children.
I mean, there was a couple. There was a
Was
couple
there?
of, like, teenagers.
Okay, yeah, I saw a few teenagers or young adults like us.
Teens.
Yeah, I think I remember one of them thanking her dad for bringing her or something.
Oh, that's so nice. But yeah, it's like, it was mostly adults. And there was a good number of people there.
Actually, some of them were even, like, elderly.
Yeah, and I was like, that's awesome! I wish we had a theater like this close to us.
No, our local theater is
Oh, yeah.
4, and it's just like 4 tiny theaters, and it's all children.
Very
Someone should
sticky
just move near
floors.
me.
Sticky floors, broken seats, you know.
Yeah,
Thankfully, the seats are cheap.
that's true.
That's the good thing about it.
Yeah. So, do we want to go ahead and go into the non-spoilers?
Well, I guess I was just going to point out a few of the names of the people. That,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Because, of course, this is a Wes Anderson film, so he was able to get a lot of very well-known people. Oh, you actually pulled up a list. Thank you, Jessica.
I was literally just thinking about that and you already had it up.
Oh, that's Tilda Swinton. Okay. I'm really bad at face recognition.
I'm
So,
just bad
like,
at names.
if you tell me names, it's like, okay, that doesn't tell me anything. We got Bryan Cranston was Chief, one of the main dogs. Koyo Rankin was Atari, which is the boy. Oh, I probably pronounced that completely incorrectly.
Try again.
Koyu Rankin was probably more correct because he's a Japanese kid. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's much closer. There was Edward Norton, played Rex, which is another one of the dogs. We had Bob Balaban, which was King. Bill Murray was Boss. Bill Murray was in this movie, and also Jeff Goldblum was Duke. They were like...
And Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson plays a character in this movie.
Nutmeg.
We had Kunichi Nomura was Major Kobayashi, who is the mayor, not major. Oops. Yeah, and then we had Akira Takayama, which I think was like the hulking, the tall, thin guy
Oh, okay, yeah.
that was there.
You know what that guy reminded me of?
Mm-hmm.
The food critic in Ratatouille.
Yes,
Yes.
He reminded me so much of the food critic. I agree wholeheartedly.
Just a more angrier version.
Yeah.
Ratatouille forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Scarlett Johansson was in this. Yeah, I think that's most of the people.
Was the narrator Morgan Freeman? Who was that?
No.
Wait, what was that character's name?
If it wasn't, I think he was trying to, like, impersonate him.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman is not on this list.
Oh my gosh.
Was it Jupiter?
Possibly?
Because that was F. Murray Abraham.
I don't know,
Maybe.
but whoever narrates it, and you can even hear it in the title.
Oh wait, there's the narrator right there, listed as the narrator, Courtney B. Vance. So no, it was not. It was not Morgan Freeman. But
He had
yeah,
a similar sounding voice, and they did an A+ job.
The real reason I think it made me think of Morgan Freeman is the cadence of it. Like, the way he was, like...
Well, I mean, it's that narrator
Yeah.
cadence.
yeah.
Well, when I think narrator, I just think Morgan Freeman.
But everyone did a fantastic job, and like the names of people that I recognized as they were going by when they started speaking, I was like, ah, yes, of course. And they're being themselves, like Jeff Goldblum is
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I loved Jeff
Bill
Goldblum's
Murray.
character.
I vote, everyone take a vote to kick Chief out of the group.
Oh, those votes.
Oh, the votes are great. Okay, I think we are going to transition now into spoiler territory. So if all of this sounds interesting and good, which I hope it does because this movie was interesting and good, you should stop here and go see the movie when it comes out near you, and then come back and listen to the spoiler section.
Because it's a very fun experience when you're not expecting
Yes.
stuff to happen.
And I mean, really, if you want to see more films like this, I mean, Fox giving this a limited release in the beginning kind of scares me. So, like, if you want to see more films like this, please go see it. You do kind of have a vote with your wallet. And everybody
Have this
who wants...
movie make money.
Yeah, everyone who wants to see animation be taken more seriously, if something like this does well, we hopefully get more, and
Not
more people
more
can
of
appreciate
Despicable
it.
Me 3s.
I didn't even bother watching that.
don't.
It made us actually angry.
Instead of apathetic, it made us angry. So it was pretty bad.
I loved the first one.
Yeah, the first one's fine.
The first one's fine. It had potential, and then Illumination decided to go the wrong direction. But that's not what we're talking about here.
We're talking about a good film.
All right, now it's spoiler section.
So get out.
If you want.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, welcome. Or if you're not planning on seeing it, sad for you.
Welcome.
But welcome also.
You're missing out if you don't.
Yeah.
Yes, this movie was great.
So our first, like, quote unquote plot twist is
Spots, the dog is dead.
well, no, I was gonna say Chief is Chief is a stray. Like,
Yeah.
you don't really know that from the trailers,
No.
but like all the other dogs in the group previously had owners, but
He gives
Chief,
them
the black
a lot
dog,
of shit for it.
is a stray. Yeah, and they kind of treat him differently because he grew up a stray, and yet also at the same time they rely on him because he's the most knowledgeable.
About
And he's calling them all whiny and telling them to just buck up and deal with it.
just deal with it. If you need to take a...
If you want to roll over and die, do it, but get the hell out first.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're sick, take a nap. If you're cold, dig a hole and jump into it.
Walk it off.
And he does not like the kid at
No.
all. When he shows up, it's like all the other dogs are like, yeah, we'll totally help the little kid. And he's like, no.
You know, I don't even think it was that he didn't like the kid. I think it's that he didn't like the expectation that he was supposed to like the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the real animal psychology that's in this movie. It's like it doesn't follow real animal psychology to a T, but it definitely does for the sake of Chief's arc,
Yes.
where, you know, it's like he's a stray, so he doesn't want to be touched.
He
It's,
doesn't want to be near people. He's not going to follow orders. He's
Right.
out for himself.
yeah. And,
But he's
and
also curious about what's going on. So
I
he's
love-
always like following around and falling behind and stuff.
Yeah. I love the conversations between him and Nutmeg where he's saying like, I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I bite.
He's just like, I do.
Yeah.
Because like he's telling a story of how he bit some previous kid and stuff. And he's like, I don't know why I did it. And it just happened.
I really appreciate the ability of this movie to take you into the psychology of these characters and make you relate to them even though they're all dogs. And it's like there's nothing for me necessarily to relate to this, and yet it's still relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Good stuff. And Nutmeg is Scarlett Johansson's character. She's
Yeah.
just a random dog. That's
Show
in the
dog.
movie.
Well, you have to
really
have
good.
a romance subplot.
course.
Romance must be there.
Oh, that's one thing I appreciated about it. He doesn't necessarily get her in the end.
Yeah.
They hint at it.
I mean, they
though.
hint at it. She's like, once I get to know you
I
better.
do like that they don't make a big deal out of it. They're just like, oh yeah, it's probably gonna happen. But I just get so tired of romance and everything.
Yeah, I know. I know when she first showed up, everyone in the theater was kind of like,
Oh, great.
like,
Okay.
oh, okay.
I do like some of the jokes with her character though.
Yeah, I think she won. I don't. This is kind of one of those just like weird Wes Anderson quirks. I don't understand why she was so beautiful at the beginning, like why they made a point.
I think the big joke
Yeah.
was that like everyone else has been on Trash Island for so long. They're dirty, they're scruffy, and never once was she drawn like that. She was pristine and beautiful, and they're like, how is she clean?
Yeah.
She's the only clean dog on the island. Isn't it amazing?
I at least appreciate that it's not one of those things where all the guys were just fighting each other over her or anything.
Right. Although I guess
In fact, she doesn't really
Okay, wait.
interact with any of the other dogs.
may have
No.
figured it out. Her being clean might be a clue that she just recently got moved to Trash Island because she does belong to the
The exchange
American
student.
girl.
Yeah.
I totally saw that coming too. Like the minute
Yeah.
the American girl was shown, I was like, oh, that's her dog. The American girl has the show dog.
Yeah.
Go figure.
So yeah, it turns out that Rex? Chief was not actually Spots, but it was leading you to
that's
believe
what
that
I
he
thought
was
it
Spots.
Yeah.
See, I thought that briefly for a second, and then I was just like, no, that doesn't make sense.
No, but he is...
I thought it up until he told the story about
about biting the kid in the past.
And the kid. Like, I thought up until that point he was just he was angry at the kid. He was, angry at society. Felt betrayed.
Or something. Yeah, but no, it actually turns out he's Spot's brother. Long-lost brother.
The deadpan humor in this is sometimes, like, literally deadpan because it's like, it pans to something that's dead. Because it's like at first you think that this is going to all be a journey to go find Spots, and then like within the first 20 minutes or like 15
you think you found,
minutes
they find Spots and it's a dead skeleton in a cage.
Right.
It's like no one figured out how to open the cage.
Yeah, and you're like, oh.
I think it's the
but they
video game
deliberately-
character in me though that like found it really funny that one of the dogs like looking at the skeleton's first thought was, I'm going to steal his dog tag.
Yep. Which it turns out his name was actually Sport, not Spots.
So they got the wrong dog.
I would just like to say
And so
though,
then the rest
if
of the
you
movie
really
is them trying to
think
find
about this, there is that dog in the cage, which the kid has the key to, which means they literally like reopened the cage and put a dog in there, and either he died in there or they put a dead dog in there.
No,
I think he was a different security dog.
You do?
I believe he was. Just had like a similar cage.
Yeah, I think it's the same model of cage, and so like all the keys open that
Oh,
kind
right,
of
because I
cage.
do think they say master key.
Yeah, master key.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it opens with a key. Oh. I love the humor of this movie.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
I loved some of the shots in the movie. I like
All
some
of
of
them?
I particularly liked some of them that had like the silhouette shots. I thought they were really pretty and really well done.
Yeah, like especially when they're all like walking across somewhere, and you just see like the shadows, or they're all just. I love the ones like it's a great storytelling technique when they show the dogs walking and then it's like flashing through these different environments that they're walking through, and then they use it again but don't explain where they are, because we're the audience, we already seen this, they don't have to explain
Yeah, we know that the same thing is happening.
Yeah.
Some of those environments were amazing as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh. And I love
Love the deadpan humor of how, like, catastrophic the damage was done to this.
yes, but also what I was gonna say, I love the effects of like all the effects animation in this is also stop motion. Like I love the clouds being like this
Just like
cottony
stuff and stuff.
Like whenever they fought.
Whenever they fight, it's just like,
or like sneeze. Not all the sneezes, but sometimes like if a sneeze brushed up something or like a plane was flying by, there'd be like those cotton clouds.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a couple of complaints with the animation, and it specifically has to deal with some of the dogs, the animal animation.
Yeah, like when at one point Spots is running down a bridge and both of
towards the camera,
and both of his legs are going in tandem, and that's not how a dog runs. They would go.
Well, they wouldn't go opposite, but they should have
been like off.
Yeah, they should have been off.
There's
just
a cadence.
There's
a cadence to it. It's not at the exact same time.
Yeah, I think that was the only shot that kind of
just like
low-key bugged me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I'm fairly certain, and I mean it's not a big thing. It was pretty easy to miss, but I'm fairly certain it was when the robot dogs were attacking on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
One of the dogs clipped through the robot dog.
Oh.
Like, he walked right through it.
How, though? They're puppets.
I don't know. He just, like, I think the dog was, like, out of a frame or something, because he just, like, went through it, like, over the edge. He walked right through the robot dog, I swear. I was like, what?
It's very strange.
It's, like, right before they dive into the water.
Okay.
And it's only there for, like, a couple seconds.
But that's what you saw.
But that's what I saw. I could be crazy, though, in fairness.
I appreciate that the final boss guy, Kobayashi, while he's evil the whole time, he's like, at the end, like, I've been a terrible human being. I will turn myself in.
Yeah.
And he wasn't just like, I'm actually the ghost of this dead guy from the past, and I'm just gonna, like, try to kill you with the samurai sword, because I saw that coming.
Yeah,
and it didn't happen.
I was expecting this huge dog-human fight,
yeah.
and then it wasn't, which was
Especially-
interesting.
Especially when, like, he looked at his distant nephew. They made a real point of that they were distant.
Mm-hmm.
But he looked at his distant nephew and suddenly saw the samurai boy from the beginning of the story. I was like, is there gonna be a... Nope, they just were making that reference. Okay. Nothing to do with it.
I appreciate that.
There's no major prophecy passed down from the...
Right. It was a political
Yeah.
beheading.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's true.
Political suicide.
There you go. Yeah, I appreciate a lot of things that they did in this. I like the idea. Well, okay. First, when they were first talking about the Aboriginal dogs, I was like, oh no.
Where are they going
Where are they going with this?
Yeah.
It's like they're cannibals and all this stuff. I'm like, oh dear. And like they even take spots off screen, like in a similar way that would be staged if it was like an old movie talking about Aboriginal peoples. And I'm like, oh dear. And then they're like, who told you that terrible rumor about cannibalism?
Oh my god.
It was great.
The rumors throughout this movie were beautiful.
Yes, I love
Jeff
Because it's
Goldblum's
just Jeff
character.
Goldblum's character is just all these rumors.
Yeah, like, I was, like, fairly
Rumor
certain
about
he was
blah, blah,
making
blah.
all of them up. I was like, he's just making this up.
Did you hear that these guys are the ones that actually started the flu to begin with? And then someone else was like, where do you hear all these rumors? And I'm like, I don't know, I just listen to other dogs talk and I listen to them.
I like gossip.
I love the Oracle, too.
Oh yeah.
The Oracle, yeah. She's literally just able to watch human TV and understand what's going
One of her
on.
visions. There will be snow tomorrow.
She can predict the future. No, she just understands human speech. I like when the dogs
Anyway.
call it out too.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Aboriginal. We got off track.
Oh yeah. I liked that whole twist. And I
Yes.
also liked the Spot's like his whole arc with moving on with his wife, Peppermint,
Yeah.
and like passing on the responsibility of taking care of the boy to Chief.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of crying in this movie.
Yeah.
Which was
the
was
dogs
interesting.
cried a
Yeah.
lot.
Uh-huh. And each time I was like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah. I really appreciate this film.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's far and above the other two films we've seen so far this year, which is
Yeah.
not hard.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys haven't seen Early Man or Sherlock Gnomes.
No.
No.
I
That's
saw
okay.
the original Romeo and Juliet. I have not seen Sherlock Gnomes.
Don't.
Don't.
That's just a good way to put it.
Yeah. But this was really, really good, and if you have an opportunity to go see it, I
Do
would
so.
definitely go watch it.
Most definitely.
Yeah, even for me, who I had no clue what was going on with it, and
Like, zero expectations.
yeah, I really
what
enjoyed
movie's
it.
coming out?
Yeah, do yourself a favor and go see it if you are a fan of animation. It'll give you a really good appreciation.
Or
for it.
even if you like dry humor, political dramas, Japanese art house films, like... If any of that sounds interesting, if you like dogs.
Definitely jokes at like detective TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
They do some good ones on those.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts or?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay.
I just want to say, go watch this.
Yeah, and
I don't want to spoil everything that happens, because
Yeah.
you should just go see it.
Yeah, my only final thoughts is what you had mentioned in after the movie is hopefully Wes Anderson will make another animated film in the future.
Yeah.
It might be another 9 years, but
Well, they take a long time to make, which makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah, especially
but I would love to see
something
another one.
is meticulously,
As stop motion.
yeah.
Yeah.
This may be a weird point, but I did like that they didn't try, except for Nutmeg, they never tried to beautify the dogs. Like, they looked rugged. Like, they looked like they'd been stuck here for a while. And I know that some people are like, oh, we'll just put a little dirt there and it'll be da-da-da. So I liked that they were scruffy, they were jealous of soap and missed warm beds and...
I remember the scene, I heard you, because you were sitting right next to me, but one of the dogs was talking to Spots, and you're like, there's a flea on that dog, and it's moving around.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I loved it. It was kind of distracting, but I liked that it was there. Like, you could see it crawling and, like, moving at different points on him. And they also make a point, at one moment in the movie, like, Chief goes, you've got a tick there, and he, like, yanks it off the other one. Like, I like that they're flea infested and ticks. Like, it's more realistic.
It's that attention to detail.
Yeah, it's very detailed. Which I can appreciate.
I love the fur moving in the wind. That was really pretty to see.
And that's something that they did quite a bit in Fantastic Mr. Fox as well. Like, they would specifically just, in a shot, they would move it to where they want, and then they'd actually, like, brush the fur a little bit or, like, blow it a little bit so it moves.
Yeah. That's something I noticed less in this film. This film, I feel, was a lot more... They were a lot more occupied with it looking right for the film.
Yes.
Because in Fantastic Mr. Fox, what's interesting is sometimes they purposefully put imperfections in the fur to make sure that it looks like it was hand moved, like those old puppet stop motion animation.
It's supposed to look like it was from the 1930s or earlier. It's supposed to look like it was a Donkey Kong movie or those silly dinosaur things and stuff.
John.
What?
You did this last time. You said Donkey Kong. King Kong.
Oh my god.
It's the same person, okay? One's just owned by Nintendo.
There's no plumber in Donkey Kong. I mean, now you're getting me doing it.
I was like, you're giving me this dirty look, and I'm like, what? What did I do?
You did it again!
What?
I would say the only part of this film that really, like, bothered me in any way was more like the moment of, when, like, the one, I think it's Chief rips that other dog's ear off, and I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah, it's like the only time the movie gets gross, which is weird because, like, most of the movie takes place on a trash island.
Yeah, they could have gone a lot grosser with it. And I admit that even though that part made me go, oh god, why am I here? I still liked the joke they made with it.
It's like, that guy just ripped your ear off.
I think he said, I think that guy just ripped your ear off. And he's like, really?
Really? Yeah. Yeah. Just
and
no
honestly,
shit.
I was expecting him to, like, pick it up and eat it, but that's before they established that they didn't like cannibalism.
We did see
the
a
joke
rat
of him
eat
just
it.
like kick it off towards him, like,
Gross.
Get this out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only part of the movie that made me go, I'm not sure I'm going to like this. But then they never did anything with that again. So I was like, okay, uncomfortable moment has passed.
Yeah. Yeah, there is some gore in this, so if gore makes you uncomfortable...
I don't even think it was that it was gore. It was that it was a dog.
Yeah, I know. There are definitely shots of this where it's like...
Yeah,
Like,
animals
a
are getting
dog is
harmed.
sad, or a dog is being slightly hurt, or a dog has emotional feelings, and if you are an animal person, like, you're just like, oh.
And I mean, there's also a scene where someone's making sushi and literally ripping apart living...
Yeah, that. I was like,
That
It's
was
like,
both
well, that's
gross
a-
and amazing at the same time.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
okay, they're...
Fantastic animation, but I'm slightly nauseous.
Yeah, like even me as a not animator was like, this is really cool. Although that fish head is still opening and closing and it's been severed from its body. Okay, that's gross.
The crab just had its shell ripped off and it's still moving, but we're gonna just chop it to pieces.
Yep.
Something else I did like, even though I mean, I love how they never came out and, like, said that cats were the villains, but, like, it was very heavily implied.
Oh yeah, all the
yeah.
villainous characters had cats with
Had
them at all
cats
times.
with them. There were cat motifs everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely everywhere. And then, of course, at the end, some cats come out of the robot dogs.
Yeah.
But, like, I loved the cat motifs. Like, I liked how they were sprinkled in as just, like, a kind of a reference to the story that was told in the beginning that really only had, like, reflective bearings on the story itself. And
Yeah.
not, like, a
Oh, this is exactly
overplayed
like what
prophecy
you said. Yeah.
or the history will repeat itself. Blah,
I
blah, blah.
really appreciate cats were the villains without it making a bunch of jokes at Cat's expense.
Yeah.
Because I get so sick of, like, that cats versus dogs.
Honestly, it was more like these cats are amazing masterminds who have been pulling the strings of humans for years, and they look down on dogs for becoming obedient.
Right, and it also didn't, like, so many times when you have that, like, cats versus dogs thing, it's like, oh, well, cats are evil, and, like, they're just shitheads, and they are only bad, and dogs are, like, these angels from God that protect us, and, like, this movie didn't do that.
Yeah, not
No.
at all.
It's like dogs are imperfect, cats are imperfect. Cats are really not even in the film.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really, like, bring in the morality of it either way.
Yeah, and
it's
there's not
just
even
saying,
one of
like,
those-
dogs are being wronged here, and that's a problem.
Yeah, there's not even one of those dumb showdowns they have in some things where, like, the cats will be, like, gloating
Yeah.
over the dogs. The cats don't even talk. They're just there in the background, very prevalently.
Yeah. But yes, good film.
Good film.
A++.
Go see
it.
Thoroughly enjoyable.
All right.
Anyway, a few weeks from now,
Yeah.
we have Duck Duck Goose.
Wow, I forgot that movie existed. I was just thinking, next is Incredibles 2!
No.
Dang it.
No. We've got Duck Duck Goose to go see. So.
Alright, well, yeah, I guess.
You'll have Incredibles as a palate cleanser.
Yes,
It's there
that's
for you
right.
to kneel.
It's there. I just have to keep it in mind. Be like, okay, come on, Brad Bird, please bless me.
Just grab a hold it and struggle to it, and I mean, I suppose
Hopefully
if
it's not
if
disappointing.
actually
Yeah.
disappointing or something, you can just go psycho.
It'll be a long review. I promise you.
One way or another, good or
If
bad.
a Disney or Pixar film disappoints us, we will explain in fervor.
I mean, how long was our Cars 3 and Cars 1 and Cars 2 reviews?
They were long.
They were long.
They were long. I think Cars 2 we went like a full movie length.
Yeah.
For
Honestly,
sure.
that was you guys kind of holding back, if college suits correctly in my memory.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been going on for a good long while anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and cut it here and join us back here next time.
Bye-bye.
Later!
Bye.